Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to talk of the epic story on how Ferrari accidentally created Lamborghini. The year is 1963. Ferruccio Lamborghini, a successful tractor manufacturer, is unhappy with his Ferrari. He thinks the car's clutch breaks too easily. He drives to the neighboring village of Maranello and knocks on the door of none other than Enzo Ferrari. The meeting, which was quite short, would change the fate of supercars forever. It would be a textbook example of how to not treat your customers. Mr. Lamborghini explained that the clutch was bad. He also made a suggestion on what Mr. Ferrari, with simple means, could do for the clutch to last much longer. Ferruccio drove home. On the way home, he made a fateful decision. He would also build sports cars, and they would be faster and better than Enzo Ferrari's. Lamborghini, as we know it, was born. The work started immediately. In just 4 months, a small factory was built in Sant'Agata, and the first car model saw the light of day. The car was presented at the annual car show in Turin in 1964 and was called the Lamborghini 350 GT. How could Lamborghini build and finish a car in just 4 months? There was an explanation. 2 years earlier, something important happened in Maranello. Something that would be absolutely crucial to Ferruccio Lamborghini's success. 5 gentlemen had stepped into Enzo Ferrari's office in Maranello. Among others, Carlo Citti, who was the chief engineer, and legendary development manager Giotto Bizzarroni. The first car, the 350 GT, is quite well received. 13 customers buy the car right away. Over the next 2 years, a total of 120 cars will be built. These cars are priceless today. The 350 GT was a slow and cautious start. This car hardly worried Ferrari. But in 1965, it was time for a car show in Turin again. Now things became completely different. For here came the car that would shake up the world of supercars completely, including Ferrari. The car that would, seriously, put Lamborghini on the map. The car was revolutionary. Inspired by F1, the engineers had put the engine behind the driver. It became the first production car with the engine in the center of the car. It was called Lamborghini Morera and immediately became a success. Finally, Mr. Ferruccio had the car he wanted to take on Enzo Ferrari with, after that horrible meeting in Maranello. Morera was put into production in 1967. A total of 764 cars were built until production was ended in 1973. At the same time, Jarama and Urasso were built. The beginning of the 70s would not end well, unfortunately. The oil crisis came to say hello. The world was sent down in a spiral of economic disaster. The supercar market shrank by 80% in just a year. Although work on the legendary Countach had begun, Ferruccio Lamborghini was forced to sell his company. Ferruccio Lamborghini completely stops building cars and tractors. Instead, he retires to his mansion on Lake Trasimeno in Umbria, where he starts a small production of wine. Later, a hotel with a restaurant and golf course is also built. The place is called Tenuto Lamborghini and exists today. However, the new owners of the factory continue. After some time, onto the stage comes the car that many, including myself, had on a poster in their rooms growing up. It was the coolest and most futuristic thing the world had ever seen. The car looked like a spaceship and came to define the brand forever. The Lamborghini Countach. Like the Morera, the engine was in the center, behind the driver. But now it was longitudinally mounted. The design was from outer space. The doors opened upwards. No one had seen anything like it. The name Countach? It is pronounced Countach and simply means wow in Italian. The car that was put into production had a 4-liter V12 and was called the LP400. It had a total of 375 horsepower, astonishingly high power output in those times. Over the entire life cycle of the model, which would last for a total of 16 years, over 2,000 units would be manufactured. The last variant, built between 1988 and 1990, had a 5.2-liter V12 that produced 455 horsepower. That project was led by none other than Orazio Pagani, who, at the time, worked for Lamborghini. In the meantime, Lamborghini went bankrupt and changed owners twice. In the wake of the oil crisis, the money runs out at the end of 1978. The company goes bankrupt and is bought by two Swiss brothers with the last name Mimran in 1980. These two run the company with some success for 10 years. In 1987, the company was sold to Chrysler. The Mimran brothers make a lot of money buying the bankrupt estate, refining the company, and then selling it to a huge American corporation. In 1990, the replacement for Countach was launched. This car would also be designed by the legendary Marcello Gandini. Lamborghini Diablo. When it came, it was the fastest car in the world. Like the Countach, it had a large mid-mounted V12 behind the driver. The early cars had a 5.7-liter engine. Later variants had 6 liters. During the 10 years the car is manufactured, almost 3,000 units roll off the production line. At the same time, the company changed owners 3 more times, first to a corporate group in Indonesia, and then to a Malaysian investment company. At the end of 1998, the turbulence around the ownership would be settled for good. The powerful Audi AG buys Lamborghini for $110 million. Audi immediately launches a program to restructure and modernize Lamborghini. As a consequence, the last 2-year models of Diablo 2000 and 2001 are of a significantly higher quality than previous cars. Above all, the difference between dashboards and interiors is noticeable. At the same time, work on a baby Lambo continues, what would later become Gallardo. In 2001, the first Lamborghini will be built entirely under the supervision of Audi, Lamborghini Murcielago. It came to be built in over 4,000 units over 10 years in many versions. This is 25% more cars than Diablo. Almost simultaneously in 2003, Lamborghini Gallardo is launched. Gallardo was a more simple car than Murcielago. It had a V10 and not as spectacular a design. Among other things, the doors were open outwards, as on a regular car, instead of upwards as on Big Brother Murcielago. In addition, the car was about half as expensive. It was still very much a supercar, with an exotic brand, but with simpler design and construction. However, what the new car lacked in exclusivity, it gained in quality, many times over. Having German engineers who built engines and powertrain made the car extremely reliable. Today, many Gallardos are on the roads with over 150,000 kilometers without any problems, something that would have been completely unthinkable just 10 years ago for a Lamborghini Diablo or Countach. Thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to explore more about us and our channel.
Artlist